event.
My name is Arthur James Bruce.
My name is Godwin Sunday.
I am Ijoma Victor.
My name is Cynthia Agbo.
Josephine Bitru.
I bet you already know that this is
Rapid Television.
Meet the men and women shaping the future of Nigeria. Get to know your representatives at the National Assembly. From lawmaking to constituency projects, we'll take you behind the scenes and inside the chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly. Learn about the bills they are championing, the challenges they are facing, and the impact they are making in their constituencies. We'll also bring you closer to the people they are serving and the stories that shape their work. Join us on NAS Watch every Friday on Rapid Television at 7 p.m. So get informed, get engaged, and get to know the leaders shaping Nigeria's future.
Welcome and big welcome to NAS Watch, the show that doesn't just observe, we dissect, we scrutinize and talk about everything involving our lawmakers. Of course, it's me, Cynthia Agbo, your host. This week, NAS Watch has definitely prepared a great conversation for you, but it is very important we highlight some flaws, especially as this affects the constituents. Now, we're talking about decisions made at the breakneck speed and, of course, visits that, frankly, some would want to say insult the intelligence of a grieving nation. First, let me categorically express my profound condolences to our brothers and sisters in the affected communities. Whew, if you saw these images, they filled your subconscious and you're not able to sleep. Now, these communities don't deserve this level of brutality. And as a nation, we don't deserve this. Now, gunmen on March 29th attacked the community in Jos, killing about 28 people. And of course, a separate incident, more than 50 people were killed when assailants invaded the Kimapa village in Bassa local council. Now, in the wake of this, let's shift to a moment that has drawn widespread condemnation and left so many feeling really disrespected. We're talking about the aftermath of the horrific Jos massacre and the president's visit, well, supposed visit, to the victims. A visit, mind you, that amounted to a stop at the airport. He didn't even have the courtesy to step foot into the devastated local government areas to truly meet the shattered communities and, of course, the grieving families on their ground. This is what sympathy should be about. This wasn't supposed to be just a political stop. It was a profound moment layered with pain, expectation, and the desperate hope for solace. But at the end of the day, solace was definitely absent. Now, some call it an almost visit with the significance and message it conveyed and the stark reality faced by those still riling with the unimaginable loss, wondering if their pain truly matters. Well, interestingly, criticism has trailed the president's visit to Plateau State, but online and by notable persons, with concerns over the short duration, restriction to the airport, and the movement of victims to meet him. I mean, we all know that when a person loses a loved one, you are the one that comes to visit the person. The person doesn't go to meet you. Well, Tinubu even said he had 10 minutes to leave Jos because the airport had no electricity to operate for much longer. Let's pause here and look at some of the online comments I think we have some comments online. Let's look at that on the screen. The first one says, Tinubu will address people, can we have that on the screen? Tinubu will address people of Plateau State from the airport. What a time to be alive. This is, well, let's not use that word, unbelievable. Like what? Leadership at its worst. I think we have another comment right there. Say, guys, City Boy Kemo, he's currently at the airport, but he wouldn't be coming to town to see the affected areas. He'll be addressing us from the airport, and then he will go home. People that got, I don't think I would want to complete that part, but you can see for yourself. Now, the former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, faulted the handling of the visit, describing it as insensitive and detached from the plight of victims. Atiku calls it a meet and greet with political allies and traditional rulers far removed from affected communities. He also criticized the decision to transport grieving residents from part of Jos to Haipang near Bakinladi for the visit, describing it as a disturbing, at the time of mourning. Now, according to Atiku, the development reduced human tragedy to a choreographed spectacle. I think I like that quote. Prioritizing optics over empathy and dignity. Now, in his words, a leader who cannot stand with his people in their darkest hour cannot convincingly claim to be fighting for their safety. We'll go on a very short break. When we come back, we will talk about the loan that was approved very hurriedly and other conversations to come. It's NAS Watch. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now, the Nigerian Senate has approved President Bola Tinubu's request for a $6 billion, and plus $1 billion external loan to support the 2026 budget, fund infrastructure, and of course manage debt. Now, the approval, which passed quickly, includes a $5 billion financing program with First Abu Dhabi Bank and a $1 billion export facility from the UK. Let's now look at some of the components of the loan, right? Because some persons seem not to understand the breakdown. So maybe if you get to know about it to make you more angry, I don't know. But $5 billion facility, a structured total return swap with First Abu Dhabi Bank aimed at budget implementation and infrastructure development. Then the $1 billion facility and export finance facility secured from the UK, arranged by Citibank, focused on rehabilitating the Lagos Port Complex and Tinkan Island Port. Now, the approval process was very, very rushed. The Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt, led by Senator Aliyu Wamako, reviewed the request before its fast-tracked approval. The purpose: the funds are intended for critical infrastructure supporting the 2025-2026 budget and easing pressures on debt servicing. Now, for context, the approval has drawn criticism regarding the speed of approval and concerns about Nigeria's high debt profile, bringing our total public debt to an estimated $110.3 billion. Now, that's not all, actually. Nigeria's total debt stock is set to rise to about $155.1 trillion, following an additional $6 billion loan requested by the president, hurriedly approved by the Senate. And of course, the $6 billion loan at an exchange rate of 1,400 naira per dollar adds about 8.4 trillion naira to the country's debt stock, which stood at about 146.69 trillion as at the end of 2025. So that makes it about 155.1 trillion naira. Well, this massive loan request rubber stamped by our National Assembly after a mere 5 hours of deliberation. 5 hours to approve a loan that will undoubtedly impact generations. We're going to just pull back the curtain on this whirlwind approval. Who actually benefits from this? And more importantly, who pays the price? What's the process, the transparency, and the long-term implications for every single Nigerian? Was this a strategic move or a dangerous precedent set in record time? Well, I think this is a conversation that I would want to have much later on that episode. I don't want us to dampen the mood right now, but it's just where we are. Just to also remind you that after approving this, they went to rest. You can imagine what it took them. They worked for 5 hours, approved this. So they deserved rest, right? They went for 3 weeks rest. Well, we're ordinary Nigerians. We work every day. We probably have not had rest. But we'll go on a very short break. When I come back, we'll bring something more exciting. I have my guest in the studio. She's just been looking at me since, and I know she has a couple of things to say, but that'll be after this very, very short break. We'll dive right into the conversation that I have with her, and then I'll probably want to hear her thoughts, because I mean, this is a place that she wants to be, so it's best that she shares her thoughts on some of these things. It's NAS Watch. Don't go anywhere. My name is Cynthia. All right, this evening I am not alone. I'm actually with a very wonderful, inspiring woman. I do have Honorable Sarah Adidi. She's a whole lot of things, a smart, intelligent woman, but she's going to the house. She wants to go to the house. And I remember asking her something off the mic. I said, are you sure you really want to go to this house? Because it looks really uninteresting right now. A lot of Nigerians are not happy what's going on. Do you really want to go to this house? Anyway, it's so great to have you on the show with me this evening.
Thank you for having me.
So before we talk about your intentions and everything that surrounds it, I do have a number of questions for you.
Sure.
And the first part is, you are a woman, and you definitely know that the Tinubu administration has always prided itself to be gender sensitive and recognizing. And so with all plainness, why do you want to be in the house?
Well, one thing I have noticed is that there are not enough women in spaces that matter. When it is time to make decisions that affect women, that affect the whole nation, for them to be actually effective and to be beneficial for women, there have to be female voices in the conversation. And so that is why I felt the need to step up. And I hope that other women also step up, especially now that we're gearing towards the 2027 elections, because it is very important.
We're going to put a pause on that part. Now, the president went to Jos, you know, it's supposed to be a condolence visit, and he did. How would you react to that? I mean, knowing that this is the leader of your party.
You know, when people are in pain, first and foremost, my condolences to all of the victims. It was such a tragic, tragic loss, and the images were really horrifying. But one thing that I know, that when you are in pain, you want empathy. You want to feel empathy from your leaders. To be honest, I'm not sure if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit really portrayed the empathy, the level of empathy that the victims were looking for. I guess for reasons best known to him.
What reasons could that be? I'm
not in his head. I honestly cannot say. But I guess, you know, him and his team have decided that that was what could be, well, that was feasible for them at the time. But I understand where the victims are coming from and their feeling of dissatisfaction. I completely understand that.
No, this is not even about the victims. This is about Nigerians. Because I remember the last time where we had, we had this sort of incident. There were tweets, or rather posts circulating by the President of the United States saying, you are in France, you're traveling around, your country is in a whole lot of mess, and you are busy catching flights, like a man who's going on vacation. Why don't you go back home and just settle what is happening? If another country's president had to tell you what to do, does it show a man who loves his country? Is there any love for country? Is there any love for people there? Would you be proud of yourself to say, this is somebody I want to be associated with?
Yeah, I get it. It's a difficult question. It is hard to defend the actions. I'm sure that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his heart, does have love for Nigerians, and I'm sure that he is doing what he feels is best for the country. It might not come off that way to the public, and I just pray that he surrounds himself with the right advisors that will help him become more in touch with the people.
That love, he has a very awkward way of showing the love anyway, if he does have the love for the people. But I mean, that's fine. Let's talk about you, let's talk about you. It's, no matter how I try to put it, I'm still I'm concerned and I'm curious. Like, I mean, this is not a time where the party is getting good PR. Yet, you're still there, and I don't know. Do you think this is going to affect how you are seen, how you're perceived? Do you think is the platform that you're on, that do you think is going to affect you? Have you thought about it?
Yes, of course, and I have gotten that question already. People seem to connect with me, but not the party. And I understand that with what has happened, what has transpired over the past few years, since 2023. But I will say that, how do I put this diplomatically?
No, just be realistic. Your people are waiting to hear from you.
Yes. So to be honest, there was no other viable alternative for me.
How do you mean?
In terms of political structure in today's Nigeria, a lot of the other opposition parties are not clearly structured, do not have enough strength to really make headway in opposition to APC. So to me, it was kind of it was the best decision I could make.
Wow. It is a bit dicey, right? If you ask me, it's a bit dicey.
Yes.
I mean, in the FCT, for example, which is where you are gunning for, right? We've always, not until 2023, where we had the Labour Party start, pulling some weight here in the FCT. We've always had like the PDP, do its thing and, take up a whole lot of spaces.
Right.
And you think that you didn't see any of that to grab for yourself?
Yes, well, even in the past few years, Labour Party has lost its footing. Since the election, they don't seem to have very much strength at all. And proof of that being that the incumbent, who was a Labour Party, who won under Labour Party, is now part of APC.
Did you actually go for APC because it had a structure or because it looked juicy?
No, it's not an issue of being juicy at all. I'm not looking for...
Everybody wants juicy in their life.
No, to be honest, I am the kind of person, I want to go and do the work. I feel like I have a lot to offer the nation, and that is why I want to use the most structured platform that I can to get the work done.
I like when you say you have a lot to offer, which now brings me to, just recently you were given an award for the boy child. I'm very particular about that. I love that so much because, I mean, I'm all about the boy child. I also do projects around the boy child. So when I said, I was like, oh, Sarah, that's good. That's good. I mean, so is this something we're going to be seeing? I just hope that it is not something for the awards, but it's something you're really passionate about. I mean, it would be good to have a member who is particular about the boy child.
Yes. Yeah, I know we place a lot of focus on the girl child, which of course I'm also an advocate of, but I think that it's very important that the boy child is not left out of the conversation, because at the end of the day, you can't just train the girls and leave the boys on the wayside. They both, it works together hand in hand to create a more equitable and profitable generation going forward. So I would definitely continue my work as an advocate for the boy child.
Let's not get to more serious things, right? You want to go to the National Assembly. I mean, what is your driving force? I don't know if you'll be following the reviews. The 10th National Assembly is one of the most, according to popular opinion, not very active and encouraging. I mean, you could see they just sat down for 5 hours and approved a loan that would put Nigerians in a whole lot of MEESS, right? So, from where you stand, you're not there yet, right? But from where you stand, how would you rate the activities of the National Assembly right now, from where you stand?
Right. Again, I'm not inside.
Yes.
I don't know the inner workings.
Yes.
But I think that there is room for improvement.
What kind of improvement?
I think that, in my work, I do a lot of evidence-based policymaking.
Yes,
right?
that's true.
That's my specialty. Right?
Yes.
And so I think that when you are implementing legislation, it is very important that the legislation that you're passing reflects the realities on ground. You must use facts, you must use figures, you must take your time to understand what is the realities on ground. Because, you know, oftentimes politicians tend to be removed from the populace, so they might not have a clear picture of what is going on. So the best thing for you to do is use statistics, talk to your people so that you can build more evidence-based and effective policymaking. So I think that that may be one area that could be strengthened under the 11th.
But you're just one person who believes in evidence-based numbers, facts and figures. You know, you're just one person amongst the hundreds in the house who are going to go to the house.
Yes.
How is this your one number going to be able to bring about this kind of change you'll speak of?
I mean, you have to start from somewhere. I mean, somebody has to start, right? And hopefully my aspiration will also inspire others to aspire to the house, you know, people who are like-minded, and hopefully change can start from there.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's now look at, would you describe yourself as a politician? Are you a politician?
I'm not a politician.
So what are you then?
I'm a technocrat, I would say. I have worked in the corporate space all my life. I've also worked in development. So, and my work has actually taken me through several African countries. So I've been able to work with different governments, and I've also been able to see what works and what doesn't work. And that experience also would help me if elected as a lawmaker in Nigeria.
Okay, so we're talking about balancing gender gaps, right? I don't want us to do too much of numbers, because I mean, the average Nigerian, yes, we understand numbers, but we always like to keep the conversation to the ground as much as possible.
Sure.
Let it get to the grassroots. And so we're talking about balancing gender gap, leadership, and the like. So there's a whole lot to unpack right here.
Yes.
And so I think we should first of all start with balancing the gender gap. You've talked about, we don't have enough women in the house. And of course, even in several positions in governance, which is why I even asked you, are you a politician? Because you know what they say, politics is a very dirty game. Are you willing to go dirty?
I'm not a dirty person, no. That's not, I always want to do things with integrity. I'm a woman that sticks by my principles.
Do you think integrity gets you the position? Do you think so?
It can.
You think it can get you the position?
I believe so. I believe so. I wouldn't do it if I didn't believe so.
That's interesting. All right, so let's talk about the balancing now, right? Do you think that women are in that space where they can actually come out openly to compete? When I say openly, I mean, we've always been open, but I mean, in terms of competing for these positions. Now, don't forget, there's been the bill, the reserve seat for women's bill. I'm sure you're aware about that. I would definitely want to hear your thoughts about it. If, people have different opinions about that. I want to hear yours. But let's talk about the fact that we have these gaps, right? Do you think that it should be given to you, or you should step forward to take it?
I mean, it would be nice if seats were allocated to women. But in the meantime, it's important that we stand up regardless, because it's, to be real, we're in Nigeria. Nigeria is still a very patriarchal society. And so it's difficult to say that we want seats to be reserved, and, you know, and it would be passed without a fight, you know. So I commend the work that's being done already. And
By who?
By the movement, the reserved seats for
Okay.
women movement. I commend their work, and I know that they have gone pretty far.
When you say they, it sounds like though you're not part of it.
No, I am. I'm a supporter of the movement, of course.
Are you actively involved in it?
Yes, I'm there.
When was the last meeting? Hon Sarah?
I did not attend the last meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay. So, yes, I commend the work that is being done, but I think that in the meantime, it is very important for women to stand up.
Okay. All right. So, you know, there are a lot of times that we talk about our values, right? You talk about, you're not a dirty person. That's what you said earlier. We talk about our values, and I'm sure that you have values that have shaped you, you know, from young till now, and you believe that you can keep up with those values and step into this new era in a place like Nigeria. It's really good. But do you think that you can be in this kind of space and maintain those values? These are real conversations we need to start having.
Of course.
Do you think you can do
And
that?
I definitely understand your
How do you
question.
intend to achieve that?
So I'm somebody that's very grounded in my faith. I think that my faith is what guides me in everything that I do. And so for me, anything that doesn't let my spirit be at ease is not something that I would engage in. So I believe that I'll be able to stand up for my principles wherever I find myself.
Stand on your principles. That which now brings me to, I'm sure you followed up the case last year at the Senate involving a senator, Natasha. When you saw that happening, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
That it's discouraging. It's discouraging for women to see one of the few there being singled out, and in the manner in which she was singled out. But again, I'm not in the Senate, so I can't really speak to the inner workings of how things go. But yes, I would just say that it was very
You've
discouraging.
mentioned a lot. You've mentioned inner workings. So it seems like some part of you believe that there is an inner working that happens over there. And so if you're in there, you will be able to know what the inner workings is. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians are eager to know, what is this inner working? It begins to sound like there is a cult, and there are some inner rules and regulations, there's some things that Nigerians shouldn't know. I mean, the people, lawmakers, are public servants.
Absolutely.
There shouldn't be any inner working.
So when I say inner workings, right, I'm just speaking of the realities of the situation. We as the public only see one side of situations. So I don't know if there's a different reality.
So are you thinking that, or are you standing on the side that, okay, there are probably things that happened that we're not privy to beyond what was said publicly by
Perhaps.
both parties?
Perhaps.
Something like what?
I can't say. That's what I'm saying, because I'm not there. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that.
You wouldn't be able to answer. How would you handle a situation like that if it were you? How would you handle a situation like that?
A situation where I felt that I was being singled out.
Yes.
So I think that I would really have to assess the situation. I'm somebody that likes to look at things from all angles, weigh my options before I take a move. So I think I would figure out what works best for me in that situation, and what works best for my constituency in that situation as well before I take a move.
For yourself and your constituency. And now this is the part where I would say that your people would want to know how would you address that? Because sometimes you just don't wait for something to happen before you have a ready solution. Because we're living in a country where it's a public conversation right now. These things happen to women, especially for women who are vying for some of these upper positions, and there are going to be very different ways, to really discourage you, to really pull you down, right? So it's good if we know how you're going to handle that.
So I'm someone that has always been headstrong. I stand up for what I believe in. For me, when I see injustice, it kind of it burns in my heart, kind of thing. So it would be difficult for me to keep quiet in the face of injustice. But again, I would weigh my options before I speak. But if I'm being confronted or I'm being put in a situation of injustice, there is no way that I wouldn't take any sort of action.
Okay, so I mean, you are from Delta State.
Yes.
And somebody's wondering, this woman from Delta State, here she is in the FCT, and she wants to take over. She wants to take charge. I mean, you know how the Holy Book says, go and occupy all, right? And this is what you want to do. Do you think that you have what it takes, to come to the FCT and capture it, knowing that there are powers already before your arrival?
Yeah, I don't really think that my ethnicity is or should be a factor in my aspirations. I mean, the current representative for Amakbari is Igbo.
Yeah.
And, and the majority of FCT residents are non-Indigens.
Yes.
So honestly, I don't think that it is an issue of me, a Southerner, trying to come and take over, because I'm just a reflection of the people.
How do you mean when you say reflection of the people?
In the sense that we are culturally diverse in the FCT. Of course, we have our indigents, and nobody is negating that. But we are and I think that we're more open, than other parts of the nation. So I don't think that it's too far-fetched for me to run for office. Here.
No dream is too big, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I did prepare a very special question for you there.
Okay.
But we'll have that question after this break.
Meet the men and women shaping the future of Nigeria. Get to know your representatives at the National Assembly. From lawmaking to constituency projects, we'll take you behind the scenes and inside the chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly. Learn about the bills they are championing, the challenges they are facing, and the impacts they are making in their constituencies. We'll also bring you closer to the people they are serving and the stories that shape their work. Join us on NAS Watch every Friday on Rapid Television at 7 p.m. So get informed, get engaged, and get to know the leaders shaping Nigeria's future.
All right, welcome back. It's still NAS Watch right now. If you're just joining us, well, you've missed quite a bit, but we're still here. We're still having the conversation. This is the second part, and I do have my guest, Hon Sarah. It's so great to have you, having these conversations with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I did tell you that I have a prepared special question for you. And of course, it's all about barriers. And so despite the progress that we've made so far, women still remain underrepresented, especially in Nigeria. And of course, so from your perspective, what are these systemic barriers that you think that are playing, ahead of women from thriving?
So I think it is both a structural and cultural problem.
Okay.
Cultural in the sense that, the narrative has been pushed that women's places are in the homes. Politics is kind of a boys' club. Historically, it has been dominated by men. So it can be a bit of a deterrent for women, especially when they don't see many of themselves, of their counterparts, in elective office. And then also I say culturally because we're a very religious nation. And I think that whether the Quran, whether the Bible, even I'm sure in our traditional religions, there can always be some sort of argument as to why, women should not be in certain places. And so I think all of that combined, also the fact that it is expensive. Campaigns are expensive. So all of that combined makes it a bit of a deterrent for women. And even when you're going out doing elections, historically we have had, campaign violence in the past, and it's not a very, conducive environment for women.
You just mentioned something about the expensive nature of campaigns.
Yes.
Now, you are not the old man who has probably been in the political space for half of his life and maybe gotten to a point where he's being called a godfather or something.
Right.
I don't know. Well, if you have like a bullion van somewhere where you just go and take out notes, for your campaign and to do the things, the runaround you need to do, because you just mentioned campaigns, being expensive. For you as a young woman, do you think, from your perspective now, do you think that the expensive nature of campaigns is one of the reasons why these people get into these positions and do not act as they're supposed to be? They do not represent their constituents as they should be, because they're trying their best to amass wealth, to cover up for what they've spent. Do you think so?
I believe it is a very real occurrence that happens. People spend a lot. People also get investors who sometimes they take out loans to fund their campaigns, and then at the end of the day, they need to recoup their campaign expenditure. So it happens.
Keep looting.
Some of them do.
I'm just asking.
Some
So which now brings me to you. You are going to be spending money on trying to win this. Are you going to loot when you get there?
Absolutely not.
Why? But you need to recoup.
So first of all, I'm not planning on taking out any loans, right? Anything that I've done so far has been my own money, things that I have saved up and things that people have donated to me.
You want to go broke?
I mean, some dreams are costly. So, but I don't believe in stealing. I will not steal. I'm not a thief. No.
Nobody believes in stealing until they get there. You know that.
I understand that, but yeah.
So you're assuring us that you're not going to go there and steal?
No, I will not.
Okay, we're going to be watching you and making sure that you don't recoup more than.
Please do.
Okay.
Free, yes.
So let's talk about the young population. Some of the things you do. We've talked about the women aspect. Let's not talk about the young people. You're also a young person yourself, and Nigeria, is proud of the young population that we have. And how do you want to convince these young people that you are the right person for them, knowing fully well that we're so used to having lots of old people right there?
Yeah, and to be honest, I think my age is a benefit rather than a deterrent, because I really believe that a government should reflect the demographics of its people. It's very difficult for an older government to effectively legislate for people that they are not necessarily connected to. When 60 to 70% of the population is young, under the age of 40, and the average age of our lawmakers is well above that, it's difficult to get the voices of the youth heard in legislature. So that's why I think it's actually a benefit for me to be younger.
And so how then would you be able to get those people to your side?
So I think that it's important for young people in general to understand the importance of getting involved in government, whether at any level that you find yourself, the grassroots, the ward level, local governments, anywhere that you find yourself, it's important to get active. So that's why also I really advocate for civic engagement for the youth, so that they understand that government is not just a select few people, it's all of us. It's a government for the people. So even your ward councilors, hold them accountable as well. You know, go to meetings, you know, understand how things are run. It's very important at every level.
Okay, have you shared rice?
I have.
Oh, you shared rice?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. You think rice is going to...
Rice is not going to solve anybody's problem, no.
Okay.
No. It was just a kind gesture during the salad break. I went to Garki. I went to the palace. And
No, I think I saw that.
Yeah, I shared a bit of things for women, but that was just a goodwill thing for the holidays.
Okay, so I am actually getting feedback saying that when you say that you cannot speak of the inner workings, it's more like you trying to shy away from getting yourself stuck in that question.
No, I'm not saying that I'm trying to shy away, but it's just the reality of the situation. I'm not a current legislator. I can't tell you beyond what we see on the news what happens there. I can't.
Okay, so you're trying to convince us that that's actually where you stand.
It is where I stand.
All right, so let's now talk a bit about your professional background.
Sure.
You have talked, you talked a little earlier in the conversation about how, you're a person that deal with numbers. And of course, you have your professional life before this came.
Right.
So what are the unique perspective or skills you'll be bringing to the process? I mean, the legislative process, that you think would make it more unique?
So I intend to study, there are 22 wards inside the Amak Buhari constituency.
Yes.
So I intend to go ward by ward to understand the needs, the realities, do a needs assessment for each of the wards so that I can understand exactly what is needed, what is working, and what is lacking, so that I can also bring the best type of legislature to the constituency.
Okay, that's good. Let's just say we have, are you familiar with the activities of the current FCT minister? Are you familiar with his workings?
Yes.
Let's say you meet a person like that when you are in that position, and how are you going to work with him?
I think the roles are defined, right? So the FCT minister has his own portfolio. Legislators have their own portfolio. So, I mean, of course, we have to be able to complement each other, see where we can strike a balance. And of course, everything is for the good of the constituency.
Do you think you can work with him? You both can always agree on things?
Nobody can always agree on everything 100%. I am someone who has always been very diplomatic, because I have, even from when I first started off in my career, I worked with people who were much older than me. And I remember even when starting out, I had people say that they didn't want to take instructions from a young girl. So I've been able to, I kind of understand how to work in difficult situations, and I know where I can meet in the middle.
This now brings me to this very important question, which I was avoiding, but you just said something very interesting now. I mean, this business, the business of politics, is described as very demanding, from being diplomatic to massage one's ego to making sure that you don't step on the wrong foods and just play your part. It's really, really demanding, and it's a very unforgiving space, right? So what have been your most significant challenge in this little time you started this process?
So I think I wouldn't even call it a challenge, but I think just trying to get people to buy into me. I've been hearing, things like, oh, she's a single woman. Why is she not married? Why, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's also.
And also, I mean, that's the reality of Nigeria. You will hear that kind of thing when you're when as a woman you're striving for things. They will always look for ways to discredit you, whether it be your personal life or whatever the case may be. But I've always, like I said before, I've always been headstrong. If I have a goal in mind, I will continue until I reach my goal. So,
so how did you handle this side talks of, oh, she's how did you?
I mean, you can't do
navigate?
anything. You can't do anything but to laugh it off, to be honest, because I can't change it. I can't marry somebody tomorrow. Like, so,
Absolutely.
so I mean, and to be honest, I even think that it is a benefit because I'm not necessarily distracted by home life. I have more time for my constituency. I mean, even if I were to get married tomorrow, I would still know how to balance it by God's grace.
I mean, these people are supposed to be happy right now because you're going to have time to, meet with them and have, one-on-one if it requires, try to know their demands. What is that thing that you're going to be bringing differently? You definitely know who is there right now. You think you have what it takes to overshadow any other contender that comes? What are things you're going to be doing differently what if the person who comes on board happens to be a man with a very strong footing? I mean, these are the realities, let's be honest. How are you going to navigate that?
So I think,
primaries are coming up.
right,
You still have that hurdle to cross.
I do, yes. So I think the most important thing for me is putting the constituents first and working in their best interests. And I think what would also set me apart is my empathetic nature. I think that I know that I am an empathetic person. And I think we touched upon that before. It is something that Nigerians look for in their leaders, and they might not necessarily be satisfied with the level of empathy being showed in the current set of leaders. So I think that combined with my background and everything, I think it would make me a bit different, make me stand out more.
Okay, well, our time is far gone, but one last thing before you go. I still do not understand why you chose the current party, the ruling party, to go for in this position. I would have thought that a thriving young woman would go to a more promising and political party, to achieve her dream. But, well, you talked about structure. So I'm finding hard to be convinced by that.
I mean, truly, what would be the alternative?
That's for you to look at. A lot. I mean, there are a lot, right? I mean, see, Olga, no empathy. Is that where you want to be, really?
That's not what I mean.
So what do you mean?
I mean, okay, so the president is the president, right? I want to be, how do I say it? It's not always, I'm choosing my words very carefully because it's
Feel free with your words.
I don't want to.
Feel free. This is a safe space. Feel free with your words.
Okay, so for me, I think it's more important that you come in, even when you might not 100% agree with the happenings of the party. I think that also nothing changes if well-meaning people don't step up as well.
Okay.
So let's leave it at that.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Sarah.
Thank you.
In just 30 seconds, give us your final words as we get off.
Well, to the people of Amakbari constituency.
Don't tell them, don't give them goodwill message.
Okay, so my takeaway from this conversation is what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. So in general, I would just say that it's very important for women to stand up in legislature. It's important that we get involved so that our voices are heard at every level of governance.
Okay, give me a high five. All right, thank you so much. It's been a great conversation right here on NASWatch. Well, one thing I can tell you for sure is that by the time Honorable Sarah gets into the House, I will meet her there. I will be there to see and most definitely monitor your activities and let your people know if you're doing what you promised them they're going to do, because that's the essence of NASWatch, isn't it? That's it. Thank you so much for staying on the show today. Don't forget, a repeat will come up on Sunday, same time at 7 p.m. Until then, it's the Easter weekend. To have yourself a beautiful celebration, and do not forget the reason for the season. My name is Cynthia Agbo.
Meet the men and women shaping the future of Nigeria. Get to know your representatives at the National Assembly. From lawmaking to constituency projects, we'll take you behind the scenes and inside the chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly. Learn about the bills they are championing, the challenges they are facing, and the impacts they are making in their constituencies. We'll also bring you closer to the people they are serving and the stories that shape their work. Join us on NASWatch every Friday on Rapid Television at 7 p.m. So get informed, get engaged, and get to know the leaders shaping Nigeria's future.
Nigeria's economy, the global markets, what does it all mean for you? From stock market insights to global financial news you need to know. From Wall Street to the main street and of course the marketplace.
Get the answers you need every week on Businessless as I bring into focus the stories, strategies, and shifts shaping our economy. No angle is missed as I talk about the business, the people, patterns, and possibilities behind them. Welcome to the Business Lens.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.
On Facebook, it's Rapid FM Umahia. On Instagram,